Freshman coming in to join us.
Sark was talking the other day about how much more physical John Plattenberg is.
Yeah.
These days, what have you noticed on that front?
Just decisive and playing defense. Just your reaction, a half a step reaction, puts you in such a better position to make a play on a ball when it's thrown, or even tackling, getting yourself in great position to make a tackle, because just a half a step is going to make a huge difference. And I think guys like John, that really has showed up this spring, just mentally playing so much quicker. And it's, the guy came out of high school and played a lot of football for us and did a good job as a freshman, but he's going to be a lot better player than he was last year, and I could expect him to continue. And the other thing is you see some veteran guys that are really improving. I think Kevon Seymour has knocked down more balls in the first 8 practices now than he did all fall camp, and that's encouraging. He's playing more competitive and quicker, and Delvon Simmons has improved. It's great having Lamar Dawson out there. Sua Cravens is doing even more things that he just shows up consistently, and not that those guys didn't do good things last year, but I think you just see the development and the kind of the next step for those guys, which is exciting.
Sark has mentioned from time to time that he'd like to play more man-to-man defense, be a little more aggressive on the outside. Obviously, it depends on the opponent and the situation, etc. But can you see that happening a little bit this?
I think if you want to play, really good defense, you got to be able to man people up in certain situations. And obviously, we got to continue to get better at that. And there's a lot of things that go into that. It's technique. It's not always the cover guys. It's also the rush guys. It's everybody involved. But I think our man stuff has gotten better. I would expect it to continue to get better.
One of the things the kids say is it's the same defense. I said, well, it looks different. What is it? And I got the answer. Looks like we're playing more to our strengths. How do you see that? Is that just their strengths are more obvious because they know what they're doing, or is it being
probably a combination of all that.
Combination.
Yeah, you just, again, the thing that has stood out to me, probably the number one positive so far, is just the mental quickness, how fast we're making decisions, getting lined up, seeing a certain release by our wideout, seeing a certain blocking scheme by the offensive line. And those things, it makes a huge difference. I mean, the recognition and the reaction of playing defense is so important, no matter how big and strong and fast you might be or aren't. If you can do those things, you can be a really productive player. And I think there's a lot of guys who have the game, people always say the game starts to slow down for you, and there's guys that you see that happening. So
one of those guys is Lamar, who seems to be a step ahead of, and he didn't even play last year, but he just seems like
mentally he was into it. It was, he was around in meetings, and then obviously the repetitions, there's no substitute for that, so he's taking a lot of reps in spring. Lamar's very bright, really smart guy, and he's played a lot of balls, so I would expect Lamar to play really well for us. It's a big dude. He can get people, again, you kind of get back to Gary was asking about Cam, and they're big guys, and when they got range and they knock down some balls, and then they can get getting people on the ground. I think those guys should be productive in that regard.